the biggest difference between the RXT and other two-piece composite Fastpitch bats is that the connection piece this year is stiffer. Those are plastic. Those aren't the real springs, but they're just putting in like for the image to show that there is sort of this new connection, this spring load connection is what they're calling it. This makes it interesting simply because the feedback that players give on these bats is that it just feels different. So they don't, a stiffer bat tends to feel like you don't hit it as well when you're on a machine. But on a tee, it tends to feel stronger because what happens on a machine is you miss-hit the ball and you feel like, oh, that didn't fly as far. But the truth is you just felt it more in your hands and it probably flew just as far. So it's interesting to read comments online, especially people that aren't doing like real actual exit speeds and just people's initial reaction on the bat. They tend to find that off tee work, they feel like they hit the ball really hard and it felt really good, but people who hit live or in a cage feel like it didn't go as well, and maybe they like another bat with a softer connection, especially if they're more familiar with like an LXT that has a real flexible connection, or like a CF or something like that. So that's an interesting phenomenon that we notice a lot in people's reviews, is that stiffer connection bats tend to not get as good a reviews, but in terms of actual exit speed and ball flight, they do just as well, if not better. Some might think it replaces the PXT from 2019, but it's really a lot different than that bat. That PXT was a heavy swinging, ring-free barrel that frankly didn't get great reviews. Not surprising that it doesn't necessarily exist anymore, at least in the 2020 space. But the RXT is probably best thought of as a little bit different than the LXT. It doesn't come in as many sizes as the LXT, but the real difference in terms of performance, and we'll put it in the cage here in a second, you'll see, is really the connection piece. It's really just a stiffer feel than the LXT. If you've hit a lot with the LXT, you'll know that it actually has a lot of give in the barrel, which people like, by the way. It feels nicer on mishits, but when you barrel one up, it still feels like it can fly with the LXT. The RXT, you're definitely gonna feel it more in your hands. Our hitters said it was not as stiff as the Xeno IST connection, that it's somewhere in between the LXT and the Xeno, the RXT, in terms of its stiffness. It's really hard for us to measure that objectively, but we'll take their word for it. It does have this HVR, which really is short for hover, in the barrel, and there's really a foam piece that sits inside this barrel that helps elongate the sweet spot, gives it a nice balance point, as well as allowing the barrel to perform well down here and up here, as well, of course, as right in the middle without being over the limit in the middle. So that's that hover technology. The LXT has something similar, but it's actually just a lot longer, right? I mean, that bat is, that foam piece insert, if we were to cut it in half, is a lot longer in there. So anyways, that's the idea of the RXT. It only comes in a drop 10 though. It does have a new end cap too. In terms of its swing weight, the bat's swing weight is right in the average of all of these bats. Nice. You like it?
Yeah.
Do you remember the PXT from last year? It's like green.
Yeah.
It wasn't very popular, but they made an RXT. This is quite updated from Slugger. I mean, I won't say anything. You just give me your impressions.
I don't really like it as much as the DeMarini Zen.
Okay.
But it's still a really good bat. Last year the PXT was way heavier than this, and I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
But this is light. And when I hit the ball, I feel it like kind of pop back and then pull full power, I guess.
With this one?
Yeah.
Ellie. Sorry, Slugger would be so happy to hear you say all those things. It's a stiffer connection, right?
Yeah.
So that spring load has like a stiffer connection. That's great. It's way lighter than the PXT. It actually swings, it has the same swing weight as like the DeMarini CF Zen and the LXT and the Xeno, which you'll swing here in a little bit, but that's it. You liked it, but you seem to like the Zen better.
Yeah.
Just because, any reason why?
I don't know. I just feel like the grip. I really like the DeMarini grip a lot more.
All right.
Yeah, and the pop on the Zen was a lot better.
At least it felt like that in the cage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's something about Zens. They have a connection piece that is a little more give. This stiffer give makes it Might make it feel like you're not hitting it as hard, but I'll be interested to see exit speeds. All right, good stuff. So RXT, you're a thumbs up.
Uh-huh.
You're 4 out of 5 stars.
Yep.
Okay.